So, today we're going to jump into something that is absolutely essential for everyday life: how to make polite requests in English. It's all about getting your point across without sounding demanding, and trust me, it can make all the difference. Let's get right into it.
We've all been there, right? You need a little help, you need a favor, but you're just not sure how to ask. You don't want to come off as pushy or rude. Well, that feeling, that little bit of hesitation, is exactly what we're going to tackle today, because often it just comes down to choosing the right words.
So, think of this next part as us building your very own polite request toolkit. We're going to stock it with a few key formulas that are super reliable and work in pretty much any situation you can think of. Okay, tool number one. This is the gold standard, your go-to phrase, could you please? Seriously, this one is like a Swiss Army knife. It's polite, it's direct, and it just works. For something simple like, could you please pass the water? It's perfect. Simple, clear, and respectful. Now, for a slightly softer approach, you can pull out this gem. Would you mind? The really important thing to remember here is that the verb that follows needs that ing at the end. So you'd say, would you mind closing the door? It's just a fantastic way to ask when you want to be extra considerate. And hey, your toolkit doesn't stop there. You've got other great options too. Would you, or even the more casual can you, are awesome for everyday stuff. But if you have a bigger ask, something you feel a little hesitant about, using I wonder if you could is this beautifully indirect and super polite way to phrase it. It really softens the request. Okay, so asking is just one side of the coin, right? What happens when somebody asks you for something? Well, let's flip it around and look at how you can accept or even turn down a request, all while being just as graceful. This lays it all out so clearly. On the left, you've got all these positive, enthusiastic ways to say yes, like certainly or with pleasure. But look at the right side. That's where the real magic is. You don't have to just say a blunt no. Phrases like, I'm afraid I can't, or I wish I could, but let you decline politely and keep things friendly. Let's see this stuff in action. So person A uses our classic formula, could you please? And check out person B's response. Not just yes, but yes, of course. It's so warm, and adding I'll be happy to do so just shows they are genuinely glad to help. That is a perfect, smooth interaction. And here's what a polite no looks like. Person A uses that softer, would you mind approach. Person B can't help, but they handle it perfectly. They start with an apology, I'm sorry I can't, and then they give a quick, honest reason. See? No drama, no awkwardness. You can say no and still be completely polite. Okay, theory is great, but the only way this stuff really sticks is by actually doing it. So let's run through a couple of quick scenarios. It's time to open up that toolkit we just built and put these phrases to the test.
All right, imagine this. You're in a city you've never been to before. You're a little bit lost, and you really need to find the train station. You see someone who looks approachable. What are you going to say?
Go ahead, take a second. How would you ask for directions using that first formula we learned? I bet you came up with something like, excuse me, could you please tell me how to get to the train station? Nailed it. That's perfect.
Okay, let's try a trickier one. This one's a bit more delicate. Asking for money can feel pretty awkward, right? So the words you choose here are super important. Let's say you need to borrow a little cash from a friend.
For this one, let's use that softer, more indirect formula. How would you phrase that request? A really great way to do it would be, would you mind lending me some money? It feels respectful, and it shows that you know you're making a pretty big ask. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that being polite isn't just about having good manners. It's about being an effective communicator. When you use the right words, everything just goes smoother. There are fewer misunderstandings, and you're much, much more likely to get the help you're looking for. And that brings us to your final challenge. Picture yourself at a station, struggling with a super heavy suitcase. Someone walks by. Using any of the tools you've picked up today, how do you ask for a hand? Go on, think about it. What would you say? Because choosing the right words can instantly turn a stranger into a helping hand.